to be something of old people. Children are living in a very fast pace, and we need to help them because this is the time to help them reach their optimal development. Adults, and I'm not talking about your parents, I'm talking about you, about me, about everyone we work with. We work in a mentally challenging world, mentally challenging work, and we need all the support we can get. And when you're talking about the seniors, and the world population is aging rapidly. By 2050, about 2 billion people around the world are going to be over the age of 60. You can be sure that a large part of that is going to be in India. And people who are over the age of 60 sometimes start to suffer from cognitive decline, and we need to help them reduce that, even prevent that if we can. I will start my talk talking about the first nutrient which is found in Metamind, and that is Phosphatidylserine. I can share with you that this is my baby. I've been working very hard to promote and develop this interesting ingredient. And Phosphatidylserine, what a terrible name. Let's call it PS for short. We are friends here. So PS, one thing that you need to know, that our brains are made largely by lipids. If you think about dry weight, taking the water out, by dry weight, 60% of the brain is made of lipids, all kinds of lipids which are important for the structure of the brain, for the function of the brain. And one very important group of lipids are the phospholipids, which phosphatidylserine belong to that family. Now, what's interesting in the brain, that unlike other tissues like the heart, the liver, the lung, in the brain, a whole 18% of the phospholipids are in the form of PS. No other tissue in the body has so much PS inside. And that's what makes PS so unique for the brain. All the phospholipids are important, but for the brain, we need PS. And the fact that PS is enriched in the brain led decades of researchers to try to understand why. Why do we need so much PS in the brain? Why is it important? What is it doing there? Years of research led to the following conclusion. If we look inside the brain, you're all hearing this talk, you're thinking what you can do with the new product, and your brain is processing information. How is the brain processing information? The cells, these white protuberans, these are cells, neurons, brain cells, who talk to one another. And cell-to-cell communication is done by release of certain chemicals. We will not go into that. But when the chemical reaches the next cell, the signal moves on further. And PS is known to improve cell-to-cell communication, to improve the release of the chemical that used for discussion between the cells. So PS is very, very crucial for brain function. We can talk about health as well, but this is for function. Okay, so PS is in our brain, we know that. Now, why do we call it a nutritional solution? We call it a nutritional solution because PS is also in our food chain. Basically, a human being will start eating PS when he or she suckles from her mother, because human milk contains PS. Also, bovine milk contains PS, rice, beans, but the levels are very, very low. Certain kind of fish include more PS, but if you think about the processes that underwent in the last 30, 40 years, what's brought to our modern diet, there's been tremendous changes in what we eat. Western diet is everywhere. I came to visit India a few years ago. I visited New Delhi. I visited Mumbai. KFC, McDonald's, just everywhere. And these are poor diets. The Western diet is a poor diet. And when it comes instead of traditional diets, which are closer to the ground, which are richer in their essence, it changes our intake of nutrients. Big processes such as industrialization, everything is big these days. Globalization, again, part of the reach of the Western diet to every part of the world, and the urban life, the quick pace of life, the pressure to do everything very, very fast. This has all changed what we're eating and also changed the levels of PS we consume. So only 40 years ago, we used to consume on average 250 milligram of PS in our diet, regular diet, and this has gone down to 130 and even lower today. This is a tremendous decline. And when you think about specific population, and I want to highlight vegetarians and children, the levels are very, very low. And we cannot get PS through our diet unless we supplemented it through supplementation or fortification of foods. So let's see what PS does. We said that PS is in our brain. Yes. PS is in our food chain. Yes. How do we link? We eat PS and it goes immediately to our brain? No, it needs to go down to our gut, to our bloodstream, to cross the brain. What evidence we have that ingestion of PS affects our brain? Luckily, we have plenty of evidence. Actually, more than 50 clinical studies were done with PS. I'm talking only on humans, not on other animals. We have a lot of these as well. Populations from children through young adults, through seniors, or wide reach and wide range of populations. And outcome measures, both subjective and objective. Subjective measures are questionnaires. You can test your memory on paper, on your computer, but these are subjective. And if you're tired, if you're preoccupied, it can affect the results. Objective measurements like PET scan or EEG imaging devices that give you an objective and unbiased result. So we have both of these. And the main result coming from these studies is that PS improves memory. Again and again, we see this in study. It also improves focus and attention and executive function. But memory is the number one function of the brain, which is improved. Let's look at some of the evidence. This is an objective measure of PS intake. You see that an adult woman, 59, it's not yet elderly, but this is the age where we start to see cognitive decline. She received PS for a period of time, and you can see her brain on the top using a PET scan, showing the blue colors, the green colors, and if you see on the left-hand side, this is the scale of brain activity. And you can see that the blue and green are marking low brain activity. After intake of PS, the colors of the brain change. The blue and green are changed to yellows, to oranges in the scale marking higher brain activity. And you can see this if you Google PET scans of the brain, you can see this as a hungry brain, sated brain, depressed brain, happy brain. So this is a kind of a good brain, bad brain situation. And PS improves the situation in the brain. We can see this also in young people. And this is a study in 17, 18-year-olds. These are teenagers, right? They are not in a cognitive decline. This is people in the top of their cognitive capabilities. This is the age where people will do their finals in high school, go to university. This is the prime of their lives. And still, taking PS has improved their memory, their learning, other things. So PS is important from young age to seniors. Another important aspect of PS science is the duration of PS to take an effect and the length of effectiveness. What do I mean? You can see here a study where the subject took PS for 6 months, so it's a long-term study relatively, and you can see that the PS is improving as time goes by. The more you take PS, the more you see improvement. But here, the subjects stop taking PS. Here they stop taking the placebo control. But they return 3 months later. And you can see that those in the PS group not only retained their higher level of cognition, maybe even slightly improved it. PS takes time to make an effect, but when it does, it's for the long term, not for the short term. The science of PS has led the American FDA to approve 2 health claims for PS in the United States. One, that consumption of PS may reduce the risk of dementia in the elderly. The other, consumption of PS may reduce the risk of cognitive dysfunction in the elderly. To this day, PS is the first and only nutritional solution with these kinds of claims in the United States. PS also have claims in other places attesting to the connection between consumption of PS, brain health, and brain function. So to summarize the first part of this talk, PS is a natural brain building block enriched in the brain more so than any other tissue in the body. To take PS is safe, no side effects. You can take very high levels of PS and no problems at all. It is found to support healthy brain function and brain health, very, very important, and clinically proven to improve memory, mood, learning, and slow the aging effects of on the brain and of memory. So this is my talk about phosphatidylserine, but Metamind include another nutrient. And this added nutrient actually has a contribution, maybe even a synergistic effect when you're consuming PS. And we will next describe why is that and what is this very interesting nutrient. And the nutrient is a microencapsulated iron given as ferric saccharate. And I will explain what this is all about. So if you think about iron, everyone knows iron, right? It's an elemental nutrient, meaning we are bound to consume it through our diet. It is linked to many, many problems in our body, and the brain is one of the most important ones. The thing is that all over the world, we have deficiency in iron. The WHO, the World Health Organization, today they are very busy with COVID-19, but on regular days, they are very, very troubled with things like iron deficiency. Iron deficiency is a global thing. It's not unique to a specific country. It is everywhere. And it's related to children, it's related to women, it's related to men, to elderly. Every person, almost every person has a deficiency in iron. And when we're talking about connection of iron deficiency and our brain, the iron deficiency is associated with impaired psychomotor development, basically related to the connection of the brain and brain health and its function to the motor activity of the body and cognitive performance also. So iron deficiency and cognition closely related. And India is not different, right? India is not different. And the Indian government has actually acknowledged this deficiency, launching 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, its national plan Iron Plus initiative, basically to enrich food and supplementations of foods with iron, so the Indian population can have more iron in its daily consumption. But what exactly does iron do that enables it to control and to affect cognition? So what you see here on the bottom right, you see a molecule of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, a protein found in your blood. Many of you who have done blood works probably received results for hemoglobin, because hemoglobin is a very important protein. It takes oxygen and carries it to the far reaches of the body. In the center of every hemoglobin, there is iron. And actually, the iron is the molecule that binds oxygen, allowing the hemoglobin to take this oxygen all around the body. And if you think about the brain consumes huge amounts of oxygen. The brain is very small. Our brains weigh about 2 kilograms. If we weigh about 70, 75 kilograms, this is a very small percentage of the body. But still, in terms of oxygen, the brain takes about half of the oxygen consumption of the body. So this is crucial for the function of the brain. Adequate iron intake is crucial for the functionality of this system. And iron contributes to normal cognitive function, also to development. Metamind is targeting 12 years old and up, so the development of the brain is already practically done, but the functionality of the brain keeps on developing, keeps on working, and we need to sustain it. Iron does that. Now, when you consume iron, it may actually cause some problems. Why? Because iron is extremely reactive molecule. That's what allows it to bind oxygen in the body. But in the food, for example, it may interact with the matrix of the food. It may lead to metallic taste. It may lead to discoloration of the teeth because it reacts with the teeth. When we ingest it, excess iron can cause nausea and vomiting, can cause diarrhea on the one side, or constipation on the other, depending on what else we are eating. So iron can be a little unpleasant when you fortified or supplement. And when you think about irons, you can basically divide iron supplementation to two. You have the insolubles and the solubles. The insolubles have no taste because they're not soluble in the mouth. You ingest it as it is. The iron is not really reactive, but the bioavailability is very, very low. And because they are not ingested, we have high rates of side effects. Soluble irons have the metallic taste, and which is a problem. It's a downside. They are reactive because they are soluble, interacting with all kinds of molecules. They are highly bioavailable. Bioavailability means that we are eating it and it is being available to the biological system, not just getting from one side and getting out the other. So every one of these solutions has problems, has certain kind of problems that we would like to avoid. And this is how we brought the microencapsulated iron, where we took ferric saccharate, this is the basic iron within, and encapsulated it with an alginate, with a very mild product that enables it to prevent the taste. So when you chew, you don't get the metallic taste. It is not reactive because it is protected. It is highly bioavailable, and I will show you this in a minute, and has low rates of side effects, and this is being demonstrated in a clinical study these days. So we have here a patented, innovative solution to bring you all the benefits of iron. So the macroencapsulated iron, again, the ferric saccharate inside, enveloped to protect it from the surrounding, no metallic taste when you chew, and you know that Metamind is a chewable product. You chew it, you don't want the metallic taste. It is very important. And it does not interact, so it does not discolor the teeth, has bioavailability, and you can see here the bioavailability of regular iron versus AB40s. And you can see that while regular iron is reduced within a few hours, the iron in the microencapsulated iron keeps on being available to the system, having a longer term effect of the iron in the system. All of this also reduced the GI discomfort. Again, we are proving this in a clinical study these days with results coming very, very shortly. So to summarize this part, iron deficiency is a public concern, not unique to India, but also affecting India. Iron fortification and supplementation are the answer to this deficiency. It is not easy to have all the iron that we need through our diet. This is especially related to vegetarians because much of the iron we're getting gets from animal sources. Iron has very important role in oxygen transfer. Again, the brain is a very, very acute and very, very significant client or customer of this oxygen, taking a lot of the oxygen that we consume, and iron is vital for the functionality of that system. Microencapsulated iron based on ferric saccharate is our solution to give you a product that has no metallic taste, that does not interact with the matrix or with the gut, that is bioavailable, and this is confirmed by a clinical study. And this is a unique and proprietary solution that you can get in your Metamind product. So to summarize this part, Phosphatidylserine and iron as ferric saccharide are two nutrients that their intake has declined severely over the last 40 years. There is no real option to get them through eating more food. The solution to intake of phosphatidylserine and iron is through fortification, adding them to food, or through supplementation. Elements have studies, separate studies to show, to demonstrate their benefit for the brain, and they do have claims related to these benefits from different parts of the world. And the mode of action of PS, the mode of action of iron are different, meaning that taking them together, you can have the benefits of the PS, you can have the benefits of the iron, and when you're getting both the benefits, the effect is more significant and more pronounced. I thank you for your listening to me. I'm happy to be here with you in the launch of the Metamind product with phosphatidylserine and iron as ferric saccharide. Thank you. Mr. Sood, you are unmuted.
Yeah, Dr. ITAY, that's really, really wonderful knowledge what you have just given to all the Vestigians. I really wanted to thank. I'm just getting a lot of questions, Dr. ITAY, and I wanted to ask you a few questions, if you can answer. Right?
Please do.
Yeah. So the first question I've got, can we give Metamind in conditions like diabetes or a high blood pressure person?
I want to remind all that Metamind and the ingredients within are dietary supplements. This is an important thing. If you have an underlying condition, I would recommend you to speak to your doctor to have him recommend or disrecommend. We know that these ingredients do not normally interact, but without knowing exactly the underlying treatment, I will not comment on that, and please consult your doctor before taking the product.
Okay. All right. And like in the Parkinson sort of a problem, this is like relate to brain. So what do you suggest for that?
Again, Parkinson is a disease. We are talking about supplements that are testing and targeting for healthy people. It's not that diseased people cannot take it, but as I answered initially, if someone has a Parkinson's disease, he's being treated by doctor and he is taking medicines. Without understanding which medicines is being taken, it is very hard to comment on that. Please consult the doctor.
Okay, and another one is what is the ideal dosage and before meal, after meal, or any of the age group you wanted to suggest basically?
Okay, so phosphatidylserine and iron are slightly different. Why I'm saying this? Because iron is an essential nutrient. Essential nutrient means that you need to take it from the diet. You cannot get it from any other place, like other vitamins and minerals. If a product, if an ingredient has a status of an essential nutrient, it also has a recommended daily intake. Yeah. The recommended daily intake is defined by age, by gender. Yeah. So there's a number of things related to that. Yeah. And you can relate to the RDI of the age group to understand how much iron you need to take. You don't need to take all of it from supplementation. You are getting some of it through your diet. Please consider that. For PS, there is no RDI. What we have is what we're getting from the clinical evidence. The clinical evidence that we have for PS is that it is effective from a dose of 100 milligram elemental PS per day, which is exactly the PS content in Metamind.
Okay.
As for age groups, PS has been tested in many, and iron has RDI for a lot of people. The content of iron in the Metamind is slightly higher than what I would recommend for very small children, but say for children from say age of 12 and onwards, no problem to take Metamind.
Okay, that's great. So just to say, like a teenage, like from the teenage age, the person can take this Metamind basically.
For sure. Yes.
Perfect. थैंक यू सो मच दोस्तों, जैसा आपने देखा कि डॉक्टर इताय ने एक प्रेजेंटेशन के द्वारा हमें पीएस और आयरन के बारे में बहुत सारी जानकारी दी। जैसा आप जानते हैं ये एक फॉर्मुलेटेड प्रोडक्ट है, जैसे डॉक्टर इताय भी बता रहे थे। और मैं आपको बता दूं एक चीज कि स्टडीज ये हो चुकी हैं ऑलरेडी। कुछ लोगों को एज ग्रुप टीनेज यानी कि जैसे डॉक्टर इताय ने कहा 12 साल से अबव बच्चों को ये दिया जा सकता है, एडल्ट्स में ये दिया जा सकता है। 6 से 9 महीने ये दिया गया लोगों को, और जो हमारे को रिजल्ट मिले, मोर कंसंट्रेशन, मेमोरी रिकॉग्निशन, रिकॉल, एग्जीक्यूटिव फंक्शन और लर्निंग एबिलिटी, मतलब जो बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हुई। और खास तौर पे 10th और 12th यानी कि 16 साल और 18 साल के बच्चे, जो एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और इंडिया में, और जैसा मैंने पहले भी बताया कि अब 21वीं शताब्दी में हम सब लोग एक कंपटीशन रेस में जी रहे हैं और ब्रेन के लिए हमारे पास कुछ नहीं है, तो ये मेटामाइंड प्रोडक्ट जो आज हमारे लिए बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? सो एल्डरली डॉक्टर इताय, one last question I want to ask. You wanted to comment for the people above 50, right? Above 50
people. Yes, so people over the age of 50, I would recommend to every single one of them to start consuming a brain product. My recommendation would be that it includes PS every single day. Actually, what we see is that cognitive decline is something that is not fixed. It's not something that you can say every person over this age and that will have cognitive decline, but we see that after the age of 50, more people start to suffer. This day and age, if you think about it, people at the age of 30, even 40, start to suffer from a sort of cognitive decline. I'm not talking about something pathological. You go home, you put the keys, and after 5 minutes, you don't remember where you put the keys, right? This is all of us. We're all using smartphones. Smartphones, silly people. This is what I say, because the smartphone makes it such that we don't really need to remember anything. Over the age of 50, this phenomena starts to accelerate. Again, not for everyone, but for more and more people. Start taking your PS, start taking your cognitive product from the age of 50. This would be my recommendation.
ऑलराइट, थैंक यू सो मच दोस्तों। जैसा डॉक्टर हिदायत बता रहे थे, 12 साल प्लस एडल्ट के लिए और एक 50 एज ग्रुप प्लस वालों के लिए, तो लाइक लार्जर पीपल हैव टू टेक इट। So just to summarize, Vestige Prime Metamind is very unique in Indian market. दोस्तों, none of the brand in the Indian market offers 100 milligram PS at this cost. मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूं, at this cost इंडिया में ऐसा कोई प्रोडक्ट नहीं है जो 100 मिलीग्राम PS आपको मिल रहा हो। Also most of the available supplement in the market do not contain iron. ये जितने भी मार्केट में सप्लीमेंट हैं उनमें आयरन नहीं होता। तो एक ये यूनिक प्रोपोजिशन फॉर्मुलेशन के साथ वेस्टीज अब ये आज ये प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च कर रहा है। जैसा आप लोगों को मालूम है कि हर घर में ऑब्वियसली हमारे पेरेंट्स भी हैं और हमारे बच्चे भी हैं, तो एक सबके लिए एक फैमिली प्रोडक्ट है ये, जो हम अपने बच्चों को ऑब्वियसली 12 साल से अबव एंड अपने पेरेंट्स के लिए भी, और जैसा डॉक्टर इताय बता रहे थे 30 और 40 साल वाले भी ऑब्वियसली आफ्टर 40 डिक्लेरेशन शुरू हो जाती है, तो जस्ट हम लोग इसको ले सकते हैं। और आज ये प्रोडक्ट जो हम लॉन्च कर रहे हैं वो एक लॉन्च स्कीम के साथ हम लोगों ने ये प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च किया है कि आज अगर आप 1800 रुपीज के वेस्टीज के कोई भी प्रोडक्ट लेते हैं जिसमें एक वेस्टीज प्राइम मेटामाइंड होना चाहिए, एंड देन यू विल गेट वन वेस्टीज आंवला एट ₹1 एब्सोल्युटली राइट। तो ये स्कीम आज लॉन्च स्कीम है। और लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, मैं आपको बता दूं कि आज शाम को 5 बजे वैशाली